This is part 2 of Bucks Are Curious by Hugh B. O'Brien from Coothill. It was after 9 when McCall pulled up outside Packy's gate. The silence on the way home hadn't bothered him, but now he was getting out of the van, he felt awkwardly concerned. "I suppose," he said, looking down at his hand on the handle of the door, "it'd be too late to go to Rooney," knowing well that the man had never been to a doctor in his life. McCall grunted. Packy went on, "There's that Murta girl. She works in the hospital." He glanced over. He could only see the side of McCall's face, but it was enough. The usual redness was now a puffy, ruddy mixture of colour, and his only answer was to double rev of the engine. Packy could feel the man's irritation. He had only seen him angry on one occasion, and the memory of the viciousness frightened him. He had kicked out at his terrier, and the squeals of the poor animal were drowned out by the torrent of curses that gushed from somewhere in the depths of McCall's belly. The leaves were continuing to fall off the birch tree, which his mother had planted at the side of the house many years ago in memory of his father. He would gather them up every few days until they were all gone. McCall had told him that he was a bollocks and he should root the bloody thing out. "It's like the teeth you have in your mouth," he had said. "No damn comfort till they're all yanked out." Packy knew that the tree was there to honour his father and his mother, and anyway, he liked it. Sometimes, when sitting at the kitchen table, he could see the leaves shaking through the window and the coloured glass panels on the hall door. That was special. When he got to the kitchen, he realised that he hadn't eaten since morning. He plugged in the kettle and got some cooked ham and a tomato from the small fridge which fitted in under the television shelf. Back at the table, he cut the tomato into 2 halves, then into quarters, and divided each quarter in 2. The red of the tomato spread over the pink ham on the white plate looked nice, he thought. "You're home." McQuaid lightly tapped the small hall window and shuffled out of his Wellingtons. Although they often worked through each other, Packy was wary of McQuaid. He was gossipy, and some of his questions could be tricky and involve others. "Well, you had a great day," said McQuaid, as he moved towards the television set to get the evening news. "Aye," said Packy, "but long." He hoped that McQuaid wouldn't stay half the night. By God, then it wasn't long enough for McCall. He's away again. He's a wee bit like the cuckoo, spends more time in nests other than his own. That night Packy pondered on what McQuaid had said. There was no doubt McCall was a mystery man. He couldn't think of anyone that had been inside his house. He had never been in it. And after the strange day, where the hell was he off to at this time of night? And the state he was in? McCall wasn't liked by people in the area, and Packy was warned by a few neighbours to be careful. But he had always found him to be all right. They went places together, not often, but they went. And the Spanners. After breakfast the next morning, Packy went to see his cattle. He liked this time of day and this time of year. He liked the stillness and the sound of it. He would stare at the road and hope to see the silver trails of the snails before they disappeared under the wheels of the traffic. He would purposely shuffle through the gathering pools of multicoloured leaves, enjoying the mad rustle, breaking the stillness. But those men and McCall and the goat, what the hell was happening? It was 2 weeks later when McCall called. The first thing he noticed was the absence of the raincoat. Bloodied and all as it been, McCall didn't look like himself at all. It was the first time that Packy had seen him with a jacket, and it looked new. The trousers were new too, and the shoes. No Wellingtons. His face was different. There were a few marks on it, but it was the cleanness of the shave, which Packy had never seen before. And his face seemed fuller, the teeth whiter, and when he spoke, his voice was different. "Are you for the altar?" Packy said jovially, because he was glad to see his old friend. "I have to go away for a bit. I'm leaving this with you till I get back. Put it somewhere." He handed Packy a box-like bundle, which was about as big as a shoebox and was wrapped in a dark cloth. It was heavier than Packy had expected. "Have you gold in this or what?" Packy asked. "Just put it away and mind it," McCall answered. Packy took the box and was putting it on the middle shelf on the side of the ray barn. "Not there," McCall growled. "Right, where then?" answered Packy. "Holy fuck, this is your fucking house." McCall was getting angrier. McCall looked round the kitchen. Finally he sidled over to the fridge, pushed the small television aside, shoved the cloth bundle into the space behind, and moved the television back into place. He could feel McCall's eyes on him all the time. When he turned away from the fridge, he saw that McCall was staring at the space where the bundle had been hidden. He felt uneasy. He didn't know what to say, and the look on McCall's face bid him to be silent. Packy sat in his usual corner, mostly staring at the blank television. He couldn't bring himself to turn it on. There was a fly going up and down the screen. Why the hell couldn't it ferret out the sticker hanging from the ceiling? He was halfway up the stairs to bed when he paused. He wondered would the bundle be safe where it was, or should he bring it up with him? When he was undressing, the same thought occurred to him. He returned to the kitchen and stood in front of the television. What the hell was he at? He turned and went up the stairs again. He usually said his prayers kneeling at the side of the bed, but instead he got in and tried the lazy way, but he couldn't concentrate. What the hell was it anyway, he wondered. Would he bring it up or what? McCall had been so anxious, and it wasn't like him. Before he knew it, he found himself below in the kitchen again. He moved the television aside and pulled the wrapped bundle out. The tie in the bundle was loose, and as he put it on the table, it loosened further. It was easy to pull it off altogether, and when this was done, he saw a beautiful brownish mahogany-coloured box. He touched its shiny surface, moved his finger over the smooth edges of what must be the lid. He stooped down to get a better look. There was a small brass keyhole set in the middle of the front panel. He gently placed his hand on the top and tried to raise the lid. It wouldn't budge. What should he do with it? He was in a muddle. He decided to put it back where it was. When he lifted the cloth covering, something fell on the floor. A small brass-coloured object. When he picked it up, it was tiny in his large hand. A key. Should he? He put the key on top of the box and moved back from the table. McCall had given him the box to mind. He had trusted him. But what the hell was he doing with something like this? It wouldn't be any harm to open it, just to have a look, and close it up again, but put it back behind the television. No one would be any the wiser. He moved forward again, picked up the tiny key, inserted it in the small brass lock, and with his thumb and forefinger lifted up the lid. He gasped.